In this video, I will explain how to compile the 64-bit Windows version of Pioneer Space Sim, the open source space game. The pre-built binaries that are available are for 32-bit Windows, the Windows version here. There is a 64-bit Linux version, but not a 64-bit Windows version. Also, the pre-built binary is only updated every few months, whereas the game is updated constantly, so you may want to get the latest version and the latest features, particularly if you're watching the GitHub pages. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you go to that link there, the github.com/pioneerspacesim/pioneer, and you want to clone or download the button here. Download as a zip file. You can download or open the zip file. I've already done this to save us a little bit of time. And then you also want to go back up. We're here where it says Pioneer Space Sim. Go back to that, and you get Pioneer Third Party. And do the same thing. Clone or download as a zip file. You'll get the two zip files. The zip files each have a folder in them, and you'll want to copy them to where you want to install the game. Now, I've already done this here, and I'm going to put them right here in my F drive /Pioneer. The final binary is going to end up in a folder called Pioneer within whatever folder you make. So in this case, we're going to end up with pioneer/pioneer. If you prefer to have just one level in, you have all your games in a games folder, maybe call this games, then you have game/pioneer, wherever you normally put games. Once you copy them over, which takes a long time, which is why I've skipped that step, you need to remove the -master from the title of each of these folders. The compiling text file says you don't need to change that, but now you do. I guess something has changed in the meantime. So now you have Pioneer and Pioneer Third Party. Now the other thing you are going to need is Visual Studio Community Edition. Here's Visual Studio 2017. Free download from Windows. It's www.visualstudio.com/downloads. And you get the free download. Now the installer is going to be showing you a whole bunch of options of components to install. The only one you need to concern yourself with is this one. So go ahead and check that, Desktop Development with C, and install Visual Studio Community Edition. Go ahead and let it install, and then the installer, once it's done, will have launch. Go ahead and launch it, and let it finish its installation, but then go ahead and close it, because we're going to use the command line. The command line is much easier to use. And besides which, I don't even know how to use the graphical user interface for it. So you're going to go to where the Visual Studio installed here. If you use the default, it's going to be on your C drive, Program Data, Microsoft, Windows, Start Menu, Programs, Visual Studio 2017, Visual Studio Tools. And here you see the developer command prompt for VS 2017. So go ahead and open that. And now you're going to want to change to the drive that you install the game on, in my case F, and I'm going to do CD Pioneer, and then it's going to be / within the Pioneer folder, so Pioneer/Pioneer in my case, and then /Win32. Now that seems counterintuitive, but they have both the 64-bit and 32-bit installers in here, and then VS 2017. You can do this with VS 2015 as well. So now that you're there, you're going to use the msbuild, then pioneer.sln, SLN. Now, here's the important part, because if you just do that, it's going to build a debug version of the game, which will run terribly. So you're going to want to do /p:, which is platform, then configuration, capital C, configuration, equals release with a capital R, and then, and this is the part that you need for 64-bit Windows, /p:, platform with a capital P, equals x64. You want to run that, and it's going to build the game for us. And you can ignore these little warnings that come up. So now the compilation is finished. I should mention also, to get to the command prompt, you also could use the start menu. I never use the start menu in Windows 10 anymore, but you can go here, you can expand, and you can find developer command prompt for Visual Studio 2017. And now the game will run. You have it installed here in Pioneer. Now if you go to Pioneer, we should have it. You should have down here Pioneer x64 exe. You can run it now, but it will probably take a long time to start because the models have not been compiled. There is a model compiler here. So if we open another command prompt, let's go command prompt, and we go to F cd pioneer / or / pioneer. You can type model compiler -b in place, one word, and that will compile all the models. That way, when the game starts, it doesn't have to compile them while it's loading every time you start the game. This shouldn't take too terribly long. These are all the ships here that it's going through. Now it's doing the stations, the orbital stations, and we're done. So we go ahead and exit all this stuff, but we can also just skip ahead here and not close things, and we start pioneer x64.exe, and it's starting to load. And the loading here is much quicker now that the models have been compiled. And there we go. You see it says build unknown. When you rebuild it yourself, it's going to say that. And here's the new user interface that was just made yesterday at the time that I'm recording this video, as far as the entry screen goes. So that is the current version of the game. And you can go to the options and increase the screen resolution and full screen and all that good stuff. And you're ready to go. You have the latest, absolute latest version of the game. Next time you want to compile the latest version of the game, you probably will not need to re-download the Pioneer third party unless there's been any updates to that. That generally isn't updated very often. You'll just need to get the new Pioneer master and reissue that command in the msbuild. And that's all there is to it. Hopefully you find this a lot easier than trying to follow a text file.